Hey there, world travelers.
Hey there.
So we figured we'd come on here now and just talk to you guys a little bit about some of our experiences in Lima, Peru. We had a lot of comments from folks that were saying, oh, Peru seems like such a great place. Lima seems so wonderful to visit. And so we figured since we were just there and we have some of this fresh knowledge from our experience, that we would share some of our experience and tips with you guys. So the first thing right off the bat, when we got to the airport, we ordered an Uber, and the app was a little bit funky, and it seems to be a common experience with a lot of folks in Lima. So just expect this, that when we ordered our Uber, we couldn't figure out where the hell he was.
Right.
And apparently what happens is, we believe this, that they park their car in the parking lot and they're out somewhere around the airport, and when you order a ride, they hit on that right away. So you're noticing them, and sometimes it might look like they're walking across the median or they're driving down a sidewalk in the wrong direction.
Right.
But it's basically because they're
the guy's
walking.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting that when you are ordering, just be patient. And it was also interesting because they seem to know exactly where to go to find the riders. You know
Right,
what I mean?
exactly.
They walk right up to you like it was just no problem.
It's very different for us. We're used to looking for a car, but basically it's a person with a phone that, kind of selected on the Uber app, and so said, hey, are you David and Tanya? We're like, yes.
Exactly.
Oh, you're our driver. And then he walked
Exactly.
us to the parking lot, and we got in the car in the parking lot. And another thing about Uber too, we've been in Mexico City recently. You may have seen our videos there. We loved Uber in Mexico City. And comparing Uber to, Uber in Lima to Mexico City, we did find that in Lima, it was about 50% more expensive to take an Uber in Lima than in Mexico City. So just something to be aware of.
Yeah, and you probably hear in the background, it's not me hissing, it's not me passing gas, it's the cicadas in the tree just kind of suckling. See, there it goes.
Yeah.
And if you have been to Peru, I would love to hear your experience with Uber, because it seems to be, for us, we've seen a couple of folks where it's kind of common that happens, where the Uber app gets a little funky. Has that been your experience at the airport? Leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, one thing about Lima that I didn't realize, just never, having been to Peru before, is that it never rains in Lima. And one thing about that too, a lot of the moisture comes from fog that comes in off the ocean. It tends to be foggy a lot, and I didn't realize that at all. But you get a lot of fog. It never rains, and because you have the cold Pacific Ocean and then the hot, kind of basically desert-like environment inland, and those combine into a lot of fog. We actually had some nice sun, but there were definitely some foggy days too.
Exactly, and it's pretty common. So just expect that when you're over there, that you're gonna typically get a foggy day. I mean, if you get some sunshine, you are lucky and killing it. Ceviche. Okay, you have to try the ceviche in Peru. It's without question one of their staples, and it's incredibly delicious. Now, I will say this. The ceviche that we got, we actually got it in the evening, and so we were told by Minnie to actually have ceviche for lunch in the afternoons, in the morning when it's fresh, because they catch it fresh every day. But we had so much going on and we wanted to try ceviche before we left in the short time that we were in Lima, that we went to this restaurant. I'll put the name somewhere in the description, I don't remember it at the moment, but it was so interesting. It was good, but it wasn't the best. And the reason why I say this is because when we got to our next destination and had ceviche, kind of like in the afternoon where you're supposed to have it, it was so tasty. So in comparison to that, it's definitely try the ceviche. Make sure you get it around the lunchtime hours, because that's when the fish is fresh. And oh my goodness, lomo sentado, which is another one of their staples. It's the beef, it's the fresh yuca potatoes and the sauce and the rice, and you mix it all in it. It's so good. So you definitely want to try the lomo sentado. And then we actually, when we were in Huacachina, sort of the Ica area, there was this dish. Oh my goodness, it was tasty. It was calapocra sopa seca, or carapocra arroz con verde, which was like a green rice pork piece. And if I pronounce it wrong, I'm so sorry about that, but it was close to that. It was so delicious and so tasty. We're gonna put the name of the place down below, so if you're ever gonna be in that area, you definitely want to try that. It's unbelievably fresh. Everything there is delicious. So one of the things you should do when you are in Peru is you have to try some of the excursions. There were a couple excursions that we missed due to weather and us making it into Lima a little bit late, but there's paragliding. We were actually gonna do a cooking class, which would have been amazing, but there's so many things you can do.
You can swim with seals 2-on-1, right?
Yes.
Some people do that.
And we were gonna do that, but it was funny when we watched a lot of the reviews, and there's like thousands of seals in that water, and it just looked like there was a lot of seal poop.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Everywhere. I didn't necessarily know if I wanted to get any of that in my mouth,
so
we didn't do it. But if you're bold and you're exciting and you're a little more crazier than I am, definitely try swimming with the seals because apparently they love tickling your feet.
Yes, exactly. That's what we heard.
2 events that we did do, and they were so much fun. Yeah. We did a boat tour. So you go from Lima to Paracas, which is about 3.5 hours. And the boat tour of the Ballistas Islands was unbelievable, but it is very, very touristy. So we are chilling here, waiting just about to get on the boat with a lot of people back there. Yeah. Check it out. It's a big,
definitely a big tourist area here.
Big tourist area here. And we kind of like to do some of the touristy things, but we didn't necessarily want to do this as far as we thought it'd be a little bit more private, but it's incredible. And oh my gosh, the wildlife on these protected islands is unbelievable, especially the penguins.
I know, penguins in Peru. I mean, who would have thought? I had no idea. Penguins, and plus the seals are everywhere. The seals, the baby seals were everywhere.
They were everywhere. Cool. The most fun excursions of Lima that not necessarily in Lima, it's about 4 hours from Lima, was the Huacachina Sand Duning, and that was unreal. It was like the most amazing event, something we've never done, and to be able to hit the dune buggies.
Oh no, it's a very unique experience. A little bit of Mad Max in the sand dunes. It's just crazy driving. Yeah, so much fun. And
to be able to sand surf, you're actually like you could snowboard or sandboard if you like, or the way we did it, we just kind of like chestboarded down the sand.
Yeah. And I actually did some face boarding. Yeah, and basically face sanding or whatever you call that.
Yeah, it was so he really tried and went for it on that run, but he did eat a little sand. Here, let me show you.
Okay, we're ready. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa! Oh, hit the deck. And when you're booking an excursion, be careful. Make sure you know what you're getting, because when we booked our excursion, we wanted to make sure we had all private tours, and so we booked what we thought was a private tour, but what it turned out was the car ride was private, so we had our own private car ride, but the boat ride was anything but private. It was a full boat, and also the dune buggy ride was not going to be private. But then we brought it up to our host, and he realized we were expecting a private dune buggy tour, so he actually went out of his way to change that into a private dune buggy tour. So we had that ultimately in the end. But you need to be careful. So when you're booking these things, just be really careful. And if it says private, make sure you know what part of the excursion is private and what part of the excursion is not. Just be careful. Then you'll make sure there's no, false expectations.
So, spider!
What are you talking about? Where's the spider?
Spider.
Where?
Something crawled. So what goes nicely with some of those tasty foods in Peru are the tasty drinks in Peru. Oh, yeah. One being in particular is their staple, the Pisco sour. It is absolutely delicious. It's very sweet, and the one thing I think that threw me off was the topping, which is kind of made of an egg white. So very different, not something I'm used to, but it was certainly tasty, very refreshing on a hot day. It has like a lemony kind of base to it with a little syrup that they do to make it even sweeter. And the Peruvians definitely love their sweet drinks.
Oh, they love their sweet drinks. When we went up to Huacachina and the dune buggying, we actually also went to a winery. And at the winery, all the wines are really sweet. It's funny, the lady there said they had 3 types of wines: sweet, sweeter, and sweetest. So the dry wine was sweet. So if you want some sweet wine, get the Peruvian wine when you're in Lima.
Just expect that. And I will tell you this, you have to know Inca Kola. If you don't know Inca Kola or have tried Inca Kola, it's like sugar in a bottle.
It's basically bubble gum, like drinking bubble gum.
It's like drinking bubble gum. Very tasty, very super sweet. But it's another staple drink that they love over there as far as a tasty beverage. So, just when you're going over there, just be prepared that the Peruvian drinks, they make it with their own flair, which is nice. But no matter how sweet it is, if you have enough of them, it will knock you on your ass.
Absolutely.
So one thing you might want to do before heading off to Lima, Peru is contact your bank to find out what the rates are for you taking out cash at an ATM, which is pretty common if you're over there. Some places don't take credit cards, they only take cash. You can use dollars, but you also might want to get out some soles just so that you have some of the local denominations. But the interesting thing is using the ATMs over in Peru shocked the crap out of me. Just the fees alone was probably some of the most expensive that I have ever seen, where the the fee to take out money is between $5 and $10. So that's a lot. I mean, there's ATMs all over the place here in the States. It only roughly, I've seen, is like $3.50 at the most, $3.50. So it gets pretty crazy over there. So definitely contact your bank. Find out what the cost is for you using an ATM over in Peru before taking out money. And also, if you're gonna take out money, try and take out what you think you might need one time, so that you only have to deal with that fee one time. So if you're into architectural detail, one spot that you should definitely check out is Plaza de Armas. I mean, we love architecture. The buildings alone, let alone the history that's in that area, is unbelievable.
Right, it's classic, really classic Spanish architecture, and just beautiful.
It's extremely beautiful. And one thing, we did not get to experience it during the day, but if you have a chance, you definitely want to experience Plaza de Armas at night. I mean, just the way they position the lights on the buildings just makes them pop even further. And there's an amazing fountain there that you have to check out. I don't know the name of this fountain, but it's been there for quite some time.
Yeah, it's the oldest fountain actually in Lima.
Exactly,
right?
And some of the locals will call it the fertility fountain, which basically, if you'll notice around the fountain, there's these statues that kind of look like they're all...
Yeah, we call them the humping statues.
The humping statues.
They're the humping statues.
Little sexo statues.
Yes, exactly.
So, but it's supposedly, if you drink from the waters, and if you're having problems having children, it's supposed to allow you to be able to have children.
And they actually help with a little Pisco sour at one time of the year, right?
Yes, well, one time of the year, I think it's in July 26th, which is kind of their independence. Like we have the 4th of July in the States, theirs is for the 26th of July. They fill the fountain with Pisco. So you can go there and have all the mother-freaking Pisco you want.
Right, and that's gotta help with fertility. I gotta believe that.
So all in all, I will say that we can't say enough nice things about Lima, Peru. And in the short amount of time that we were there in Lima, it was just, I will say, incredibly inviting.
Absolutely. The people were amazing, so much fun, and just so friendly all around.
Yeah, and we will definitely be back because there's so many things that we wanted to do that we didn't have a chance to do because we had such a short time there. So we definitely will be back. And I will say this, if you've made it this far in the video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up and scroll over, hit that symbol that looks like a bell. But YouTube has made a little bit of an adjustment when it comes to the notification bell. When you hit that bell, just go a little step further and make sure it's highlighted blue so that you get all the tasty tidbits that we put out when we put them out. And for those of you that don't know us, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Dave.
And we're Turn It Up World. And as always, we really appreciate your time. We hope that you got a lot of information out of this. And if you have some information that we missed that you could probably share, please leave it in the comments below because we feel like this is starting to become a little bit of a community when it comes to travel, and everybody reads the comments and we can all share a little bit of information that can make the next person's trip there even that much more enjoyable. So definitely leave a comment below. We really appreciate that. Thank you again for joining us. And as always, we look forward to seeing you
on the road.